Hello YouTubers, subscribers and friends, welcome to my channel. Well, I'm going to do another Indonesian story, not a home building or remodeling. I'll take a break from that. I'll show you what I did when I moved to the island of Sulawesi, city of Manado. This in front of you is a picture of mostly Indonesia, Asia area, and let me zoom in. Down here, this is Australia down here. Let me zoom in here and show you a little closer. There's thousands of islands of Indonesia, and here's Jakarta over here. Right over here is Jakarta. That's where I lived for a year and a half, and then I went down to Bali, which is where's Bali at? Doesn't say Bali, but it's down in this area over here. I don't know which one. Oh, right there it is. Bali. Let's zoom in on that. Went down to Bali for a month. Right over here. Actually, right down Denpasar, right in that area. And then from there, I went to the island of Sulawesi or whatever. That's this island over here to the right. But I went all the way up to the tip corner over here, tippy corner right here, Manado. Let's move over and zoom in on that. And that's where I went to live for another year and a half. Not because my wife's family had family there. She had family further inland, right here. Family Tomohon and Tondano, which is right here, which is a long drive, 2.5 hours from Manado over here. But she had some cousins and uncles and aunts right here, and one of them was a disc jockey for a radio station. And here is the big secret of Indonesia. Island of Bunaken is the best place in the world to go scuba diving, right here. And that's a 2.5 hour boat ride from Manado all the way to there. And I actually lived right up here in the mountains, the jungle area. I call it jungle because it looked like a jungle. And it's a big island there. You got the Philippines, which are pretty close. Right here's Manado. Up here's the Philippines, Davao. I used to go there a lot, Davao, because I had to leave the country every 2 months. I would fly from here to there. It's like 20-minute flight to Davao and spend a couple days. They have a huge hotel there called Marco Polo, and that's my name. And when I was, sometimes I would go from Manado to Singapore, which is over here. That's like a 5-hour flight. And then from Jakarta, I would go to Singapore a lot. I've been to Singapore a lot. I love Singapore. Singapore actually reminds me of Orlando, Florida. It's one of the cleanest cities in the world. And they got a lot of laws there. You can't do this and can't do that. And I went up to Malaysia one time. But Sumatra, where they had the tsunamis over here. Up in this part right over here. So that was away from the city, the capital, Jakarta. So anyways, that's Indonesia. And you got Africa over here. When you fly from Indonesia to the States, you got to fly from Indonesia. You got to go up to Thailand or Hong Kong, and then fly up over here and go over towards Alaska, and then come back down to California over here, or Las Vegas, whichever one you want to get off of. So it's west of California, and it's a long flight, man, like 30 hours time from when you leave California. Fly up all around over there, come back down. Korea, I stayed in Korea for a week. One time I laid over in Korea and I couldn't get out for a week, and then I came down, stopped in Thailand, and then Malaysia, and then Indonesia. And I hate flying. Hong Kong's pretty cool. Been a couple days in Hong Kong. But yeah, Korea, man, Korea is really strange country. When you think of Asian people, you think that they're short, and it's not true. When I was in Korea, man, it seemed like everybody there was 7 foot tall. And that's one of the most expensive places I've ever stayed, was Korea. Extremely expensive in that country. anyways, so what I want to talk about is when I was in Sulawesi in Manado. Let's see how far I can zoom in on that. I was had perfect ocean. You can see the ocean right here. It's just all view, and I had bought some property up on the mountain in the jungle area. Let's see if I can zoom in on a better view of this. I used to ride my scooter all over this freaking city, everywhere. I had a Suzuki scooter, because that's all they have in Indonesia, is scooters. I'm trying to see if I can find where I was on the mountain. I have beautiful ocean views. I'm not seeing it anywhere. It was only like not even 10 minutes from where I lived up on the mountain to go down to we used to go down and swim in the ocean. And this road looks like the road right here going up to where I lived. It doesn't have the name of the street actually, but it's like, this is Manado Wasita. It looks like the area I was in. Yeah, but there was nothing up in that area when I started building. It's a crazy road. It was a winding road like this. That's what that one reminds me of. But, let me look around here a little bit more. I don't recognize any of these roads. Malalayang. I can't even say the name anymore. Malalayang. That's the street it was on. I don't even see it. Anyways, I had good ocean views. It was up on the mountain here, and this is the city. The city is right on the freaking boardwalk here. That main road is a city, and they were just starting to build a mall right before I left there, right in this area over here. 2-story mall, and they had Kentucky Fried Chicken right over here. I used to eat KFC there all the time, even though I hate KFC. And I used to ride my scooter. This is a main road that goes all along here. I used to ride it. I'd be gone for 4 or 5 hours and end up way around over here. And they had some white sand over here, down in this corner over here. And it was a blast. My wife had family over here in Bintang. When I shipped my Chevy Trooper from Jakarta to Manado, we had to pick it up way over here, this little tip over here. And I don't know why, because that's like on the other side of the freaking island. You can see, here's way over here, and then Jakarta's down up over here. It's like, why couldn't they just come around and bring it to Manado? I have no idea. So anyways, let's get to the point what this video is about. After building several homes in Jakarta and doing remodelings, I discovered that their bricks are garbage. So I told my wife that I can make a better brick, and this is my brick right here. I made much stronger, faster, and waterproof. Where we used to buy the brick at when I was started to build my I built a 2-story building in Manado, 22 rooms. What they call it there, they call it the Kost, K-O-S-T. And what that actually is, it's like a motel. It's like a building with rooms for rent, because people, they can't really buy their own homes there. They don't really have that much money. Third world country. I gotta turn my AC on. And so I told my wife, I know I can build a better brick. So this is what I did. Those are the bricks that I made, and I was making them to build my 2-story building. And 3/4 way through, the people who live in the surrounding areas would come over and watch how I was doing this. And when I say I mean me. I was physically doing it, shoveling and sanding and squeezing and shifting this myself with my guys that worked for me in Jakarta, and I brought them to Manado with me because I bonded with them and I got along with them so well that I took them everywhere with me. Swim in the ocean, play soccer, everything, man. I showed them things that they've never seen it before in their lives. I'm sorry if it's a little crooked. This tripod, it's not very good. So these are just some of the bricks I built. Now this is what I had to go out and buy about 3 hours from Manado, there's a place that makes these, and what that does is this lifts up and then this thing drops down, and you pack this is not sand, it's not dirt either, it's like a mixture of dirt and sand. When I would sift it, it looked like a flour, but it's not dirt, and you can only get it on one part of the island, Sulawesi, and it's a good drive from where I was building my house, or my 2-story building. So anyways, this is a picture of the machine, and my wife was pretty pissed because she's like, you don't even know what you're doing. And my wife doesn't know that I have a lot of history in construction. I never made bricks, but once I put my mind to something, I can do it. So we built a stand here. The way that they did it, when I first saw this machine, when I was going with my guy to go pick up the bricks, when I would order them, when I was first starting to build the wall around my property, the bricks was so crappy that I said, I'm not going to build my house out of this brick. I'm going to make my own. I figured it out. I got an idea and I want to try it. So we went and bought that, and it cost like 30 bucks for that piece of machinery there. And we made this, and we kind of modified some stuff. Now, like I was saying about this dirt, this dirt has already been modified. It's got waterproofing mixed in the water, and these are the guys this guy right here, he's only 16 years old, and he was, when he had to go back to another island, his father wanted him to come back because he was being raised in a foster home, because his father had to go work in the gold mines. And his father, when he lost his job, his father wanted his son to come home. He cried like a baby for a week when he finally told us what he had to do. It was really sad to see him go. This guy right here, Sammy boy, that's my boy, man. That's actually my wife's third cousin, and he's never spoken a word of English. He's never even met a foreigner, anybody from another country. And he lives 3 hours in a village, 3 hours from Manado. So when my personal driver I had, because my wife didn't want me driving around Indonesia because traffic's really bad, he's my wife's second cousin, and then he's the cousin of my wife's second cousin, so I think he was third cousin. On the weekends we'd go home, we would go to this guy's village to go see his family over there, and then he brought him back one day with him, and he said he was looking for a job and wanted to make some money. So I put him to work, and he's like 22 years old, strong kid, man, and he could climb coconut trees just as good as the other guy I brought from Jakarta. So I put him in charge of making the bricks. I showed him how to do it, and he was a really quick learner. What we do, we'd fill it with the shovel, and then we would pack that in with the, even though we're going to squeeze it, we still pack that in because I want to get as much of this dirt, flour dirt, in there as possible, and then we would just bend that over and squeeze it. What it does, it squeezes all the water out, and then we get that water that drains here, we mix it back into that, and sometimes we have to get 2 people jump on there and get that thing squeezed really good, and then when you lift it back over, it pushes the finished brick up, and just like that, you pick it up very gently with your hands, and then just lift it like that, and then walk it over to the area where we were setting it. You'd lift it like that and just gently set it on the ground, and it would dry within I don't know, 4 hours. There you go, setting it down, and then just stack them on top of them. I used to make 1,000 of them a day. That's how good we got at it. And there's a look on the inside of what that thing looks like. Right in there is a piece of steel, thin piece of steel, so this dirt or flour dirt doesn't get stuck to the actual thing that compresses it. You can spin that steel when it comes up and then take the brick off of it a lot easier. That's a modification we had to do because I found out that it was sticking to the steel and it was destroying the brick, so I came up with that idea. Just like I came up with the idea, let's pack that in really good so we can get so there's no pockets in the air pockets in the brick. And there we go. And just as we started getting, this is when we first started, when we started getting bigger, I had to make a concrete slab because the dirt was sticking to one side of the thing there. So we were learning as we went. You can see there's concrete here where we would mix it, but over here we were setting it on the dirt. And before I made the slab, I would get pieces of wood. There's a piece of wood right here, long pieces of wood, and then set it on the wood so we wouldn't have that dirt problem. And now this is the idea I came up with. This is called the sifter. Now if you look at the dirt or the flour dirt right down there, you see them big, look like rocks. Those aren't rocks. Those are extremely hard compressed dirt clods. Well, it's not actually dirt, but it's like dirt clods. And then you can see the dirt after we sift it and we get all them hard dirt clods out of it. It's like black flour. I mean, it's really, really fine flour. Really, really powdery soft. And those guys were shocked because they've never seen that. They've never even seen the idea to even sift it. What they would do, they would just mix it with these big old dirt clods, and what would happen is it made the brick really weak. You could just snap the brick like a cookie, like it would just crumble because there's all these air pockets in these dirt clods. And I found out that if you got rid of those dirt clods, you can make a stronger brick. So I came up with this sifting idea. Two guys would sift it, and he would rub his hand, you know, just to try to get more to go down faster. And then we'd make a big pile of this, and then we'd spread it out on this concrete here. And then the water, got buckets of water. I was pour this liquid stuff in it. It makes it waterproof. It makes the concrete waterproof. And then we would dump 1 or 2 bags, depending on how much we were making, and just mix it up. Just slide it and flip it and slide it like mixing pancake mix or something, just all over here. And then when we got it all mixed, we would push it over here to this pile over here and get ready. And we'd make, I don't know, like, out of this right here, we'd probably make about 300 bricks just of this mixture right here. And then the dirt clods, we would throw them over here, and I was getting these huge piles of these hard compressed dirt clods that I couldn't use. And we were taking it from here and we were dumping it over here. You can see a huge pile over here. And what happened was, people that live up on the mountain, they heard I had this dirt here that I was just throwing over there, and they come up to me and wanted to know what I was going to do with it. And I had a little black pickup truck. I've never seen them here in the States. I've only seen them in Asia. And I would fill up the back of the pickup truck, and I would sell it to them for like 20 bucks a load. And what they would do, they would fill in big holes in their property with this stuff, because it's like concrete rocks. This stuff is so freaking hard. I was trying to smash it with a hammer to see if I could save my money by recycling this stuff. And then eventually I figured out how I could do it, how I could save it. And here it is. You can see the black flour. Here's the guy who climbs coconut trees. Now I had a race between these two guys who could do it the fastest. He was the fastest every single time. There's the building I built in the back. I'll make a video showing step by step how I did that. But everybody in Manado, on that island that was anywhere within a 100-mile radius, knew about this building because they called it the Blue House Kost. And every single room was rented out, and I had a waiting list, about 50 people waiting in lines, to where people, you know, they would stay a month or 3 months, whatever they move out. I'd have it rented before they moved out. Now this right here, this is a coconut, what they use to crush coconut shells. There's the motor over here in the gas tank, and there's a belt that goes through here, and this thing spins around. What it does is it grinds up the coconut shell, and it spits it out down here. So, I mean, coconut shell is really hard. They build a lot of things out of coconut wood in Indonesia because it's so hard and durable, the wood, that I'm like, if this can grind coconut shells, this thing can grind these dirt clods right here, for lack of a better word. So that's what I did. I would throw the dirt clods right here, you see in that pile over here to the right, and I would run this coconut machine and throw it in there, and it would shoot it out in that little black tray thing there. The guys would catch it in that and then go dump it over into the shifter, and we would reshift it again. And that thing cost me like $100 for this whole setup here, but it worked perfect. I was still selling the dirt clods to the people who lived on the mountain and the village and the surrounding areas, and I was recycling these dirt clods so I wouldn't have to go and buy so much of this dirt clods to make my bricks. And I was turning it into this is my back property here. I was building a wall that goes around my property with my bricks that I was making, and I built a 2-story building with my own bricks. There we go. We got the slab already made now. We don't have to put no more wood or dirt, and getting the bricks made. And that's the setup I had. Everything's made from bamboo. There's bamboo growing in the back there. The guys just went down there, cut the bamboo, and then built this little roof thing here. So I got my pile of dirt clods here getting sifted, and then I got the pile over here. The guys would walk over and throw it over there, and then we would grind it up over there. And I was recycling that dirt pile, and I didn't waste any of it. I recycled every single bit of it that I used up until the time I sold the building and moved back to the States. But there's the view. There's the ocean view. That's standing on the ground. When you're actually standing on the second floor of my Blue House Kost, you get even a better view. Another view of the ocean. These the guys, that's how we mixed it. We spread it all out here, and we just mixed it, and then when it was fully mixed, we slid it right over there and started making it. It was actually pretty fun. We had the radio going, and we listened to my wife's uncle, who was a radio disc jockey, from 8 o'clock until 12. And then after 12 o'clock, he would come show up and watch us make bricks. And he talked about us every single day on the radio. And at least once a week, I would go down to the radio station. My guys would be working. They wouldn't even know where I went, and because I knew they listened to the radio. And I would go down to the radio station. He would start talking about my Blue House Kost and my Batako. That's how you say brick in Indonesian, Batako. And they started calling me Bule Batako on the radio. And everywhere I went to in Manado to go, people would recognize me. They would go, "Hey, Bule Batako, Bule Batako." And Bule means kind of like if you're an American, you say gringo. You know, it's kind of what they call foreigners, white people or whatever. They call them Bule. And I didn't even know what it meant. And I came home and I told my wife, I said, "Why is your uncle calling me Bule Batako for on the radio?" And she was in Jakarta, which is a 5-hour flight away. And I would tell her on the phone, and she'd just start laughing. She's like, "You're on the radio?" I'm like, "Yeah, I go there once a week." And he interviews me. You know, I talk in English, and people listen to the stories, and their ratings went up big time because I don't know, there's a foreigner coming down the radio station. All it was is just a little square block building, and just a room with a window. That's all the radio station was, with all this knobs and stuff in front of them, and like, you know, like equalizer stuff, and a microphone that hung down. And then on the other side where I sit, there was another microphone, and I would just talk on it. You know, I would talk in Indonesian a little bit, but everybody would call in and they would laugh and say I talk funny. Here's, you know, the guys would rotate, and they would get tired of carrying the brick, and they would get tired of shifting, and I had 6 guys making batakos for me, and they would just rotate. And there's 2 guys squeezing it and squeezing all that water out. And I went and got the guys some. I used to wear the rubber boots when I would do, because they do everything barefoot. And then when I wouldn't be working, they would snag my rubber boots and put them on. And I thought it was funny because, like, this guy, he never wore shoes. He's always barefooted. That's Imam. I was gonna bring him to the States with me, but he changed his mind. And then I found out later he met a girl and I ended up marrying her. There he is right there. Imam, Dunkin' Donuts. That's all he knew how to say in English was Dunkin' Donuts. Because they have a huge Dunkin' Donuts in Jakarta, and that's where he's from, Jakarta. But now he stayed in Manado. He didn't even go back to Jakarta. He stayed in Manado and got married, and I heard he's got a little girl. And there's just more bricks being made. There you have it. That's my Batako business that I did when I lived in Indonesia. And I'll make another video showing how I built my 2-story building. But before I do that, I still got another remodeling that I did before I went to Manado. I remodeled my brother-in-law, my wife's brother's house, because his house was in pretty poor condition. And yeah, that's Indonesia. I didn't even know anything about Indonesia until I met my wife. And then she's like, "I don't understand how you don't know anything about Indonesia. Almost everything in America is made in Indonesia." And I said, "Nah." So I looked down and I had some Michael Jordan's tennis shoes, and I went and looked at it, and I said, sure enough, made in Indonesia. But yeah, that's Indonesia. My life in Indonesia. And I've been to Malaysia once, and in Malaysia they talk. A lot of people talk English there. In the Philippines they talk English, and Singapore, boy, just about. I mean, you don't even feel like you're in Asia when you're in Singapore. It's such a beautiful country. I love Singapore. I actually, before we came back to the States, I told my wife I want to move to Singapore. I'd rather live in Singapore, which is, I would go up here in this part right here, Singapore, and it's only 30-minute flight. Well, actually, it's not a 30-minute flight. It takes 30 minutes once you get to the airport, get on the plane from Jakarta right here, and by the time you land, it's about 30 minutes. But the actual flight time is not 30 minutes, and it's extremely strict in Singapore. When you get off the plane and you come walking down to the hallway there to go to the customs to go get your passport stamps, they got TVs hanging from the ceiling that are like x-rays, and you can see yourself. You can see what's in your pockets, you can see what's in your bags as you're walking, and they got a huge sign there that says, "We hang drug traffickers." And I'm like, well, wow, that's pretty blunt right in your face. And I thought that was strange, my first trip to Singapore. And the same thing with the Philippines. They have the same setup over there. right there, Davao. I'd go to Davao. But Philippines is nice. It reminds me exactly like Indonesia, but they have a lot of white sand beaches in the Philippines. Very nice people there also. They got a lot of stories there where the pirates actually run and control the Philippines for a long time. Got a lot of sunken hidden treasure over in the Philippines. Well, there you have it. That's my Batako, Bule Batako story while I lived in Manado. And thanks for watching. And